Is another Premier League manager finally going to be sacked this Premier League match week 13? It's going to be like some sort of Oprah and Donald Trump love child. You're getting sacked. You're getting fired. Everybody's getting fired.
You're fired.
Wow. Hey guys, it is Finn here. That is of course FYN, and if you do not know, I make this video every Premier League week, and normally I do my fantasy team as well, but I am pre-recording videos during my last final weeks of exams before my holidays, so of course I cannot make my fantasy team because you can only do that the week of that Premier League that Premier League match week, so of course I can't do my fantasy team, but still I think there's lots of exciting matches and potentially managers could get fired. But I do want to ask you guys, as my Christmas present to me, if you guys could really just help me get to 300 subscribers by then. I don't know what that is. If you guys could help me get to 300 subscribers by the end of the year, or 350, I really would love that. And yeah guys, I just want to say thank you so much, and yeah, I hope you all have an amazing festival season as it comes up to that in December. But yeah, let's get into the match week, and yeah, let's go. First one is West Ham versus Spurs. Now, of course, it is home for West Ham, and Pochettino is on the chopping block. He could seriously go and leave and get sacked from Spurs if he loses this one. And of course, they're still missing Hugo Lloris in that goalkeeper position. But to be 100% honest with you, I don't think they can afford to get rid of Pochettino. I don't think they have the financial backings to it because, of course, a huge amount of money has to be spent then. Of course, they have to pay out a lot of players that are just leaving at the end of the season, that they're not going to further their contracts. And of course, I don't think another manager could really do well at Spurs as Pochettino is doing at the moment, although Spurs aren't doing that well. But at the end of the day, I don't think Pochettino is going to get sacked either way, because I think Spurs are just going to get away with the 2-1 win. It's going to be a very close win, but I think they are going to get a win because they've been in a terrible run of form. Of course, in the last 7 matches, they've won 1, which is absolutely dreadful in the Premier League for them, and it's not what's expected of them. Look, I think they are going to be very lucky if they could break into the top 6 this Premier League season. It does sound harsh, but it is the sad reality, and hopefully Spurs get a bit of form again. And of course, I wouldn't put it past West Ham to beat Spurs because West Ham have had shining moments. Haller is obviously looking strong at moments at West Ham. Just in general, West Ham aren't having absolutely terrible moments. But yeah, I do have to give this one to Spurs. Now on to our second match. Match is Bournemouth versus Wolves. Now, of course, this is also another one which I could make really, really close, and I'm almost tempted to give it to Bournemouth, like a 3-1 or whatever, because I could see the likes of Fraser or whatever, who by the way is linked to Liverpool. I mean, I think that's an absolutely mental thing in general. And I want to ask you guys, as my video league question, of course I'll ask you a question every video, and of course I would feature you in my next video if you have an interesting opinion on that. Do you think Ryan Fraser from Bournemouth would do well at Liverpool? That's obviously just my question. If you think he could do well in the starting lineup in like a midfield position, or if you just think Liverpool's the kind of team he could play for, that's very interesting. But I'm going to give this one to Wolves. I think Wolves are going to get away with the win in this. I think it's going to be another 2-1 result. It's going to be to Wolves, another away team getting that 2-1 win, because I think Wolves just look so strong as a team in whole. But yeah, I do have to give this week to Wolves. Next one is going to be Arsenal versus Southampton. Now, of course, Southampton haven't had the best Premier League so far. Southampton and of course Arsenal have really made some huge mistakes. I don't think they're happy with Unai Emery in the slightest, and I hear lots of people saying that Arsenal hasn't really changed that much since Wenger's left, who, by the way, he's in charge of some sort of directing like football development now for FIFA itself, which that's a huge achievement for him, and I'm happy he's still involved in the kind of football world when it comes to that kind of association. But yeah, I do have to give this one to Arsenal. I think it's going to be a huge 3-0 win to Arsenal, although it's probably going to be a lot closer than that. I think Arsenal could really just get a comfortable result, and if there was any team that could get a result again, it is Southampton. Yet it is Arsenal, and if there's any team that could lose again, it's ironically Southampton. Brighton versus Leicester. Now, of course, Brighton have had some amazing wins, but they've also had some incredible losses this Premier League season. Where Leicester, I mean, I'm going to say 4-1 to Leicester, although it's away for Leicester. Leicester's the kind of team that I'm starting to look at in the same light as Manchester City and Liverpool. I know that's absolute madness, but 4-1 to Leicester, I think they've gotten huge results this Premier League season. And just coming out of the international break, We have seen the likes of Ben Chilwell has done so amazing for England. We've seen so many games this season where he's gotten like 3 assists per game, and then you look at a player like Jesse Lingard for Manchester United, who hasn't gotten an assist in the Premier League since like December. But yeah, I do have to say, Leicester, you guys are just looking so strong, and I can't see it going any other way than a 4-1 win to you guys. The next one is Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Now, of course, Liverpool, once again, so strong, can't put much past them, and I just think as a whole, Liverpool's just, I mean, it's not really a debatable one. I do have to say it's just going to be a 3-0 win to Liverpool. They could potentially win by more, but yeah, I do have to give it to Liverpool. I don't think I have to go too far into it to kind of differentiate Crystal Palace versus Liverpool, because I think it's pretty self-said. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool, 3-0 to Liverpool. Everton versus Norwich. Look, Everton haven't had a great season so far, and they are a team that could potentially sack their manager in Marco Silva. I think lots of people wanted Marco Silva out long ago, but I think that Everton's going to get a comfortable win versus Norwich, which, by the way, well done to Norwich's Teemu Pukki, obviously the striker for the Finland national team, because Finland have now qualified for their first ever international major tournament, I do believe, for the Euros, with Teemu Pukki scoring, of course, 2 goals in that match to help them qualify. Just really good player, but I'd still have to give it to Everton with a 3-1 win, because it's just, I have that kind of mindset that I can see Calvert-Lewin or whatever scoring a goal, Richarlison. I can just see Norwich being really bullied by Everton in this game, because Everton's a very physical team compared to Norwich. Watford versus Burnley. Watford winning 1 game so far this season. Just really, I don't see how they're going to stay up at all in the Premier League. But I mean, it's possible, not really. But yeah, I think Watford are going to lose quite. Yeah, I do have to say, I'm looking at my notes now. I just really can't see them winning against even Burnley. That's how sad it is. I think Burnley's going to get away with a 2-0 win over Watford, because Burnley, I mean, they have strong attackers. They do, with the likes of Barnes. Of course, they have the greatest Danny Drinkwater, greatest midfielder of all time in the Premier League era. But yeah, just overall, jokes aside, I can't see Watford getting another result. Although normally, if you asked me with the same squads last season, I would have said it's a comfortable Watford win because of the kind of players. But they've been in such poor form, I just really can't see it happening. Manchester City versus Chelsea. Now this, I was so tempted to give it to Chelsea, but I'm sorry, I'm going to slightly give it to Manchester City. I know, it's a very tricky one, but I'm going to give it a 3-2 to Manchester City. I think it's going to be very close. But yeah, as you've probably seen the thumbnail, if I have made that the thumbnail, I think Pep Guardiola could get sacked if he lost to Chelsea, because if he goes from having pretty much an unbeatable season last season to being beaten like 3 or 4 before the halftime break of the Premier League, I think he could potentially be sacked. I know it's a bit of a strange one, but I really could see him maybe going, but at the same time not really, because of what he's done for City. And you know what, it's still not impossible to catch up, but I think City look like they could end up in 3rd or 4th place this season, which is a bit scary. I mean, especially if they do lose to Chelsea, but Chelsea are just, wow, they've impressed me massively. I really thought they were going downhill since the beginning of that season. But yeah, Chelsea in general, Abraham, of course, scored in the international break, and lots of people I see are comparing Marcus Rashford to Abraham, saying, yo, well, they've compared Rashford to all these people, and Rashford's still been like a main factor in these comparisons, and he's probably going to outdo Abraham. Abraham, in his first proper Premier League season as a Premier League striker, has gotten more goals before the halftime break before Rashford has, like, throughout an entire Premier League season. I hate to say it, but I think Abraham's better than Marcus Rashford. I think maybe it's the players behind him that help create space and get chances to him. But at the end of the day, I think Abraham's a very complete player. I think he could be a really good player for England eventually. I think that he could really be a first choice once Harry Kane moves on. In the next, like, maybe let's say 5-6 years, if not before that, because he's just looking so impressive, along with Mason Mount and a bunch of them. But yeah, I am still going to give it to Manchester City with that 3-2 advantage, just because I do view Manchester City as a stronger team, although they did lose to Liverpool, and I think Liverpool are going to run away with it, sadly. Sheffield United versus Manchester United. Now, I wouldn't put it past Manchester United to lose to Sheffield, to be 100% honest with you. There is a big bug outside my window, and I hope it does not come inside. Yeah, I do have to give it to Manchester United. I think it's going to be a 3-0 win. I think we're creating more and more chances. There's a possibility Pogba could be back before the match week starts. But even without him, I just see us creating so many chances. And I can see us getting a 3-0 win. I can see it being a comfortable 3-0 win. Because Rashford, of course, in the last 7 or whatever games has gotten like 6 goals and 1 assist in the last 6 games. So he's really picking up on form. I hope the likes of Martial can pick up on form once again. And I really hope we get this clean sheet. That's why I'm going for this 3-0 win. The last result, of course, is Aston Villa versus Newcastle. This is a game that could definitely, without a doubt, go anywhere. I don't know. This is a very tricky one, but I'm going to go for comfort. I'm going to go for a 2-0 to Aston Villa. Look, I think Newcastle have been in slightly better form than Aston Villa, but I just see, although Newcastle have been in the Premier League much longer now, or a few years more than Aston Villa since their relegation period, I still see it going to Aston Villa. I think it's going to be a 2-0 win, just because I view them as a much more strong, and they panic less. They do definitely panic less, I find, than Newcastle, and I really don't wish bad things upon Aston Villa. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this match week. Once again, guys, if you guys could really share and help this channel grow, I would love it so much. I would really appreciate it. But guys, this has been Finn, of course. Love all of you. FYNN, don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.